Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks so much for dropping by. Sewing Lutterloh patterns in October started off well. My daughter asked me to make her pattern number 170 from the 316 supplement, the 2020, and she chose some silky fabric from my fabric collection. It all worked out really well, but if I'd have thought about it, I would have put a fold on the centre front pattern seam rather than a stitched seam, because my pattern pieces didn't actually match up. So we also straightened the side seams so it wasn't as flared as the Lutterloh design, and I also put a lining in so the fabric wasn't see-through. And she really liked it. She's worn it to work a few times before we went into lockdown, and she looks really professional and smart in it. She also spotted my Aztec skirt, which I showed you in the last video, and I just managed to squeeze her a skirt of her own out of it, so we're going to have to avoid each other when we're wearing the same skirt. And then unfortunately things went crazy and I didn't do any more sewing. First off, we moved our son into his first home. Then my daughter got an offer accepted on a house that her and a boyfriend are going to buy. And this kind of prompted us into thinking, well, the place we live in now is going to be too big and it's time to get this on the market as well. So we've been busy decluttering the house and getting it ready for sale. And then I got struck down with shingles in my eye. Now you would not believe how painful that was. It was off the scale. I was at the A&E. I couldn't see through my eye. I couldn't even eat, the pain was so intense. I was given some heavy duty pain relief, but unfortunately it's left me with a condition called uveitis, which is this swelling in the middle eye, and it can flare up whenever, whatever. So I've really got to start looking after myself. So because of all that, sewing has actually taken a back seat. But you know as well as I do, sewing is very therapeutic, and now my eye's back in working order, I'm going to get back onto sewing lots and lots of Lutterloh patterns. So since we've got nowhere to go right now and I want to try out some comfy loungewear that I can wear around the house, I've picked this pattern, which is the Lutterloh pattern number 150 from the Lutterloh 315 2019 winter patterns. I'm going to have to see what fabrics I've got available to make this, but I thought instead of doing a sew and tell this time, I would do a sew along to see how I make this top. Keep watching and sew along with me with this Lutterloh pattern for November. Okay, these are the fabrics that I've found in the attic, my comfy cozy range. I think weight wise these two are probably best matched, and I don't think I've got one piece that's going to be enough for my new top, so I think it's going to be a combination of these two fabrics. Okay, the first thing I like to do is photocopy the pattern that I'm making. Some people just stick the pins in this and use the original, but if it's a pattern you're going to use quite often, it's probably not a good idea to have lots of pins in there. If you've got a photocopier that does a like-for-like copy, just hold it up to the light to make sure that it hasn't enlarged or shrunk the original pattern size, and then you can use this as your copy. Next I get my drafting paper together. I've bought a huge roll of this dot and cross drafting paper, so I'm just going to flip it over. So I find it really useful to have something padded under my paper, my cutting paper, to stick the pins in. So I bought this from Aldi. It's actually meant to go under a treadmill or something like that, so it's like a little foam layer. And I just find it perfect size to put under my paper and stick the pins where I need them to go. So I'm going to use my bust measurement for this. It's pretty baggy and stretchy as well. So I'm going to find my measurement, which is 94. There it is in red, and the little pinhole that is going to go into. Then I'm going to set my pattern piece down. I'm just going to blue tack it to the paper. So that's in 94. And I'm just going to start with this pattern piece here, which is the sleeves, and the cross on the sleeve pattern I'm going to mark. Oops, it's moved. my pin right in the centre of that, and we're ready to go. making sure when you're putting the marks for the pattern pieces, you always work from the right hand side of the tape, which is the same side as where the pinholes are. So you always mark on this side, you never jump over and mark on this side, otherwise you will get skewed measurements. Then I'm going to just use my curved ruler to join up dots. And then I'm going to try and join up as many of the dots as I can on this section. I'm just going to try out both rulers to see which is the best fit. And I actually think if you can get 3 dots to join up, that's quite good. See there, I've got 2 different lines. I'm just going to choose the best of the curve out of those 2 lines. Okay, I've got my fabric all laid out here, and I've decided I'm going to make the sleeves, the hood, the pocket and 2 lower panels of the top out of this fabric here that you can see. I nearly forgot the lining for the hood, so I've just found some lightweight t-shirt jersey. Just been searching around for some cord to put in the hood, and I'm afraid this is all I could buy in some gold, so it's going to have to do because the shops are not open at the moment. And I'm going to put some eyelets into the hood as well, as seen there, so they can hold the cord. Needed to put the cord in before I stitch up the facing and the hood. I'm just going to use my 3-thread cover stitcher to secure the cord in the hood. And there you have it, the cover stitch, which is stretchy. Next I'm going to overlock the sleeves into the body. Okay, I'm going to move on now to fitting in the hood, and I've still got that tag showing me which is the back, because at this moment now it's very hard to distinguish which is the front and the back. And I'm just going to fold this in half and nick it so I can find the centre front. And now I'm going to add the hood. But before I stitch this down, I'm just thinking about how I neaten this, because when it's all complete, I don't really like to see that raw edge on the neckline. So what I'm going to do there is get some bias binding, fold the bias binding in half and actually overlock that with the neckline. So all of the satin bias binding has been pinned. I started at the back so I didn't have a messy sort of knitting seam at the front. So I'm going to stitch this on my straight stitcher and then trim it Won't need to overlock this because I'm going to be encasing it in the satin bias binding. Back to the sewing machine now to seal up and neaten that raw edge. Look how neat that is, you could actually wear that on the right side. The lining I put inside of the hood, so I've cut out a piece the same size as the pocket, and what I'm going to do is make a bag basically. So I decided to cover stitch all of those sides of the pocket. So the pocket's attached now, and the final piece of this jigsaw is to attach the lower panel, which you can see there. So simply right sides together and overlock along that edge. Same on the back, and then final things left to do are to just sew down both side seams. I'm on the home straight, just to hem the bottom of the top and hem the cuffs. I was right to put that extra length on the sleeves because of my long arms. That was just perfect amount, so I just need to bind this edge now. And I'm going to use the same bias binding I used in the neckline.